Hey, today I'm talking about the final 3 Milla Jovovich, Paul W.S. Anderson live-action Resident Evil movies. Ooh. So that means I am talking about Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, and Resident Evil The Final Chapter. First up is Resident Evil Afterlife. This is a 2010 film, and the basic premise is it picks up essentially where the last movie left off. I'm gonna say a little spoilers, but it's fine. So it has Alice and her army of clones attacking the Umbrella facility in Japan. And I was just like, cool, this is exactly what I wanted. Because that was such a great end to 3, and this is gonna be such a cool start here, and it's okay. I really didn't like her outfit. The action was really ridiculous, not always in a fun way. Once I realized that all of the clones died in this big action set piece, I got really annoyed because I was so excited to see Alice like interacting with all of her clones and seeing how all of her clones have like different personalities and stuff. But then like to perfectly end cap the beginning in the most like fuck you kind of way, they get rid of her superpowers. And like, I hated that she got superpowers. I thought that was really dumb and random. I guess it kind of makes sense in like the mutation sort of way. Okay, I hate it, but you're doing it. I'm excited to see how you explore this interesting idea of her having these super godlike abilities. And then they just get rid of them for no reason at all. They're like, oh, she was getting too crazy. We had to reset her back to 0. And I'm like, no, you had an idea. Just commit to it. Explore it. It's not that hard. It's interesting. You can make it interesting. Just do it. Okay, whatever, it's fine. She then decides to go to Alaska to meet up with everyone else who's up there. Well, she gets there, she doesn't really find anything because she doesn't really look at all. She does find Claire, which is great. I love Claire, it's always good to see Claire. But they're more or less safe up in Alaska. They're like, you know what, let's go to a really dumb place to be. Los Angeles. Why? Why go to Los Angeles? There's no reason, there's no point. Why? Well, it's because they wanted to do a Prison Break movie, so they went to a prison in Los Angeles for reasons. Also, they got the guy from Prison Break to do the Prison Break movie. And my favorite really dumb fact about that too is that his first line in Prison Break, the TV show, and in this movie is the exact same. It's like, I know the way out. Literally only cast him because he's in the show Prison Break. I hate it and I love it. Also, just as a quick aside, it's been 4 or 5 years, I forget now, since the dawn of the zombie apocalypse, and all of the people they come across in this prison are still wearing their day 1 outfits. They would have wanted to change. They would have made clothes. They would have done anything than still just wearing the exact same, almost untethered clothes. What are you doing? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Also, the axe zombie, I get that it's something from the game, but like, you need an explanation for it. It didn't just come out of nowhere. Someone created it. It was way too meticulously put together. You gotta tell us what's up with this guy. You can't just have this thing exist. We need something. And then on top of that, I loved / hated how like, so he has like his giant axe and he's trying to like break down a fence, but like they're both props. So he's just like gently tinging it against it and putting 0 effort behind it. And I'm like, this is absurd. This is so bad. What are you doing? Okay, so I'm dumbing on this movie a lot for good reason. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but I liked it, and it's like borderline quite liked. Like, I loved the return of Claire because it's always great to see Claire. I do think the action set pieces were pretty fun. I loved that Claire's brother was there. I do think there's a lot of interesting ideas and good kills. The location wasn't bad. Also, I really loved her hair in this one for reasons, though her outfit wasn't good. Okay, so leaving this movie, I felt pretty good about it, and I really debated for a long time whether or not it was a quite liked or just a liked. So either a 4 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5. But I had so much to complain about. I'm like, I can't put this in the quite liked. Like, I'm just digging on this movie so much. It's decent though. It's not bad, but like, it's got its issues. So recommendation, I'll come back to that in the outro. It's kind of a maybe. It's complicated. Next up is Resident Evil Retribution. This is a 2012 film. The basic premise is Alice is in this under ice / underwater umbrella facility and she needs to fight her way out. Also, there's maybe clones of past co-stars that are now bad because they're clones. And maybe the whole reason is just because they wanted to bring Michelle Rodriguez back because she's a bigger star now. Okay, so this movie, I was getting really frustrated with this franchise by this point because they just loved to set up these cliffhanger endings where you have a good idea of where the next movie's gonna go, how the next movie's gonna start, what it's all gonna be about, and then they'll just completely abandon that idea by the time the next one rolls around. Like, it doesn't matter if who's standing next to Alice at the end of the movie. They're probably not gonna be in the next one, and it's not gonna be explained what happened to them or where they've been. Like, suddenly Jill Valentine is back. She's a bad guy with no explanation. Yes, she has the thing on her chest, and so that's why she's bad. Also, her outfit is terrible. It's probably video game accurate, but I don't care. It's terrible. It's just to show off her boobs, and it doesn't look good. You can show off her boobs and make it look good. It just, whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so I think my frustration with this movie is kind of just a big frustration with the series in general, but it's just, there's just no logic to this movie. I also hate how every single time they do like a 6-minute recap of the entire franchise. You don't need it because all these movies are incredibly standalone. You don't need to tell us that her name is Alice. She used to be security at the Umbrella Corporation, which is the largest company in the world. All this other bullshit. Like, just, you don't need it. You just don't need it. Either trust your audience to have seen the other movies or just naturally include that information in regular dialogue. You don't need to monologue at us. But they also just don't like giving these characters character or really anything. Like, yeah, it was really great to see Michelle Rodriguez again because she's a good actor, but she doesn't really have a lot to do here. I thought she was gonna be a bigger part of this movie because she is second build, but like, man, she does almost nothing. I'm getting tired of just action set pieces for the sake of action set pieces. This is the most video game-like in the sense of it's just action and there's no plot. Like, they're literally just moving through different levels of a video game, and that's it. And I hate that they keep bringing back the laser hallway. Like, yes, that was a really cool moment in the first one. Make your own really cool moment in this one. It's not that hard. You did it once. Sorry. One more thing that just like pissed me off so much with this movie is that at the very end, they're like, so remember how we took away your superpowers? Well, we need you to have your superpowers back. So I'm gonna inject you again so that you get your superpowers back. And that's just, it angers me to no end. Just pick a lane. Don't go back and forth like this. This is dumb and terrible and I hate you. I didn't super care for this movie. I still liked it. It's fine. It's interesting. This movie is probably better if it's like you watched it with a big gap in between the other ones. I think that's the intention. So yeah, it's fine. It's just like, I'm tired. These movies aren't bad. It's just, they're just difficult at times. And lastly is The Final Chapter. This is a 2016 film, and okay, so like the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was just reeling for how annoyed I was because this is a bit spoilers. At the end of the 5th one, there's this really cool shot of all of our heroes on top of the White House. Why are they at the White House? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Whatever. They're just there. It's supposed to be cool. Sure, it's cool. And there's a horde of zombies coming at them. Neat. Okay, how does this movie open? This movie opens with Alice all alone in DC, and it's just a wasteland. There's no one else around, and there's zero explanation from how it went from everyone to just her. It just happened. Okay, so remember how I said that she got her superpowers back in the 5th one? She didn't. She didn't. It was a lie. Why? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I'm so pissed off about that. Just like this, it's just, I have no words for how angry I am with this series just flip-flopping around. Can't decide what it wants to be, where it wants to go with any of the stories. It's just making it up as it goes along. Okay, that was my emotions while watching the beginning of the movie. And I'm like, okay, no, let's pause for a second here, take some breaths, calm down. Because I'm like, okay, these action set pieces are good. This looks the best out of all of these movies. Like the CGI is legitimately good. The sets are good. I really loved the tank cars that are in this. Those are really cool. I can feel myself kind of enjoying this. So I just need to like kind of relax, push away the frustration, and look at just this movie as it is. And after I was able to do that, I enjoyed this movie a lot. This movie is really interesting. They do some retcons by explaining how the zombie apocalypse happened, like the why. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. They actually gave more character to characters. There's some new twists. I liked the new Red Queen, played by Paul W.S. Anderson and Milla Jovovich's real-life daughter. I think she did a good job. Claire's back again, so that's always a good time. I don't know, I think it just did a good job of wrapping things up and finally giving us interesting answers to things that we didn't necessarily need, but like, it made it feel like something happened, so that was good. It doesn't explain what happened to Jill, but her, I guess. So yeah, this one was actually pretty dang great, in my opinion. I'll get to the recommendation in a second, but the answer's gonna be yes, I definitely recommend this one. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Resident Evil Afterlife, sitting at number 127 at the very top of the liked category. And then after that is Resident Evil Retribution, sitting at number 151, also in the liked category, surprisingly enough, sitting in about the middle of that category. And then finally is the final chapter, sitting at number 103 in the quite like section. So just as a quick visualization, my ranking for all 6 is 1, 6, 3, 4, 2, 5. And as a comparison, my brother, who owns these Blu-rays, ranks them very differently than me at 5, 2, 1, 3, 4, 6. So his favorite ones are actually my least favorite ones, which I would find so interesting. But I did want to go into like recommending this in a kind of a different way, in like a machete order kind of way for Star Wars stuff, because I do think that there's good stuff here. So if you've never seen these movies before, or it's been a while, I don't recommend watching all of them because that's a lot. I would say watch all of 1 because 1 is great, there's no denying that. Skip over 2 and watch 3. She'll suddenly have superpowers, but like, she just suddenly has superpowers anyway, so it's whatever. Then watch the first 10 minutes of 4, right up and through, so you'll see like the big action set piece that was teased at the end of 3. You'll end with her on the plane with the bad guy, and she loses her superpowers, and so you see the explanation for how she loses her superpowers. You don't need to watch the rest. Even though Claire's in it and Claire's great, she's not worth it, don't bother. And then skip over 5, and then watch 6. So yes, 1, 3, 10 minutes of 4, and 6 is how I would recommend watching this movie franchise. I mean, I did like all of these movies, but it was difficult at times, as you can tell by my ranty frustrations. They're good movies, but they're just at times, and yeah, I don't wish that upon others. But yeah, it's good stuff. Also, I'm not done with this series yet. I still got 4 animated movies and 1 more live action film, so stay tuned.